All right, so again, looking at or talking about congressional powers, I'm only going to spend a little time today doing this, and then I'm giving you guys an actual application activity where you're going to work in groups to complete the task. Okay, you should not, I'm repeating, you should not need to be writing these down right now. Because, again, if you did your Article 1 guided reading question where you had to list the powers of Congress, you probably already have these somewhere, so you shouldn't need them again. If you want to write them again, obviously, I'm not in your house. I'm not going to, like, smack your hand and make you not do it. Rock out with your bad self. But when I'm done talking, I'm going to click. All right, so again, right, Congress has legislative power. It has power to make the laws. However, lots of things that Congress does not necessarily create a law or a direct policy. So I do want to keep that in mind, all right? Again, this is not an all-inclusive list. You should have a much better list that you created for yourself. But these are some of the things, right? They obviously make the laws. We noticed one of the big words in our word cloud was money, okay, right? They have the power of the purse. That includes other things that we saw in our word cloud, like taxing and coining money, punishing for counterfeiting, borrowing money, right? And all of those things are explicit, enumerated, expressed powers. But we also know related to money, an implied power would be the power to create a national bank, right? All right. They have the power to establish a post office that actually existed under the Articles of Confederation as well, right? If we think about it, Article 3 only creates the Supreme Court, and then it says, Congress, you can do the rest. So Congress has the power to create all of the lower courts. So every federal court that we have in this country that is not the Supreme Court of the United States was created through a Judiciary Act of Congress, which we will talk about a little bit more when we get to the judicial branch itself. Okay? You guys got regulate commerce. That was one of our big words. Naturalization laws. So Congress has the ability to determine what process is required to become a United States citizen. Right now, it includes living in the country for a minimum of 10 years for a regular citizen, the basic path. You have to pass a citizenship test. You have to go through a background check, and then you have to give an oath to be, honest and faithful and dedicated to the United States of America. To punish pirates, and I do mean like, pirates of the high seas. However, when we talk about piracy of intellectual property, they also create laws and make punishments for that too. That links to our patents and copyrights. So if you want to say, this was my idea, I had it, I should get ownership for it. If somebody else creates something based on my plan, I should get credit for it, right? You would file to get a patent or a copyright. And Congress regulates that. They regulate the military. That's the next two. You guys got that without a doubt. We saw that very big in our word cloud. Govern D.C. is not specifically listed in the Constitution, but Congress does have the power to kind of govern and oversee D.C. because it is a federal district. Yes, D.C. has its own local government, but that's because the national government says they can have it. Declare war, that was one of our big ones. And impeachment, that was also one of our big ones. So very clearly, you guys know what these powers are based on the warm-up activity that we did in class today. Do we have any questions about these powers? I think they're pretty basic, but I didn't want to move on without giving you a chance to ask questions if you have them. Oh, okay then. Good to go, my friends. Good to go. All right, so this one you probably do want to write down, even though you did read Article 1, right? These are the specific powers of each chamber, right? So the last slide was power in general. However, there are some specialty powers or specialty things that each one of the chambers in Congress was given the authority over when the founders created the Constitution in 1787. So when we talk about approval, this is the Senate. It's very interesting to me. So my daughter is in the 5th grade, and she's doing 5th grade social studies. And right now they're looking at the branches of government, and they're looking at checks and balances. And obviously they're in the 5th grade. So things are a little bit simplified, and it's like, oh, Congress has the power of presidential approval, which is true, but it irks me because it really is the Senate part of Congress that has that power, okay? So anytime, and we should know this because we just saw Trump recently, right, make a nomination to the Supreme Court and Barrett, and that was a big deal, right? So the Senate has a special committee, which you guys looked at yesterday, right, that is for, it's the Senate Judiciary Committee, and when the president decides that they would like to nominate a judge to the federal courtship because there is a vacancy, Congress is the one who does that investigation in their committee, and then they recommend it to the entire floor of the Senate, and the Senate approves that. Also, when the president is choosing members to sit on the cabinet, which Joe Biden is already in the process of trying to determine who it is he would like to have on his cabinet, that has to be approved by the Senate. So the president can't just pick whomever they want to, right? That is our system of checks and balances. The Senate is the one that officially is going to approve treaties. Presidents normally do the legwork and decide where they want a treaty. But in order for a treaty to actually take effect, the Senate is the one that has to approve that. And then the Senate is the one who actually holds the impeachment trial. They act as the jury. We also just saw this happen, right? Man, whew, we just got a serious dose of real-life government class in our government the past few months. For certain, right? So the impeachment trial is held there. When we look at the Senate, all bills that deal with taxing have to be introduced on the Senate floor. If we want to impose a new tax or increase a tax in this country, that bill can only start in the House. That is because the House is considered the direct representative of the people. Okay, so, right, in the beginning when the original Constitution was created, only the House was directly voted on by the people. The Senate was voted on by state legislatures. And there have always been more people in the House. So the idea was if you were going to tax the citizens, you need to ask the representatives that are closest to them and most represent their interests. And that's why that is that way. And I guess I could have put this under the Senate too. So, for example, we obviously had a winner in this presidential election year. However, if there is ever a presidential election year in which, and this has happened, no president wins a majority of the Electoral College, then the House gets to pick the president. The Senate picks the vice president, and the House picks the president. Okay? That's a pretty strong power. Okay? And then the House has the power of impeachment. And I do want to kind of point out here, and I'll probably say this a couple times throughout the course of the year, impeachment, we often think that impeachment means to be kicked out of office. It doesn't. Impeachment is the formal charge. It's kind of like an indictment would be in like a regular court. So an impeachment is a formal charge that says this needs to go to trial. The House makes that decision. They kind of act like a grand jury, I guess. So they impeach or make that formal charge, and then once they do that, the case goes to the Senate for actual trial, and then the Senate serves as a jury. Okay? Any questions about that slide, or does anyone need me to leave that one? Okay.